Governor, what has gone wrong with what has gone wrong with the rollout of the vaccine that we've seen phone lines jammed, websites crashing?
There's a lot of demand. I mean, I think at the end of the day, excuse me.
If I could finish my question.
You just said what has gone wrong, so I'm answering the question.
If I could complete the question, though.
So you're going to give a speech, or are you going to ask a question?
With all due respect, Governor,
you asked a question. I'm going to answer it.
I'm trying to finish my question.
No, you're giving a speech. You asked a question.
I am trying to ask you the.
You're going to ask how many questions? You get 3? They only got 1 question. Why do you get 3?
With all due respect, Governor, I'm just asking if I could finish my question.
You didn't. You finished the question.
I did not. My full question is, what went wrong with the rollout of the vaccine when we've seen phone lines jammed, websites crashing?
So you're repeating your question.
To complete it for you, Governor, we've seen websites crash and also senior citizens waiting overnight for the vaccine.
Where was that at?
We've seen it in Duval, Broward, Orange, and Lee counties.
And why was, like in Lee, why did that happen? Did you investigate why?
That's my question to you, Governor. You're the governor of the state. I'm not the governor of the state.
Okay, but you didn't investigate why that like in Lee County. Why was there a big line? Did you investigate why?
Could you tell us why?
Because we distributed vaccine to hospitals, and the hospital said, first come, first serve. If you show up, we'll do it. So they didn't use a registration system. There wasn't anything that was done, and there's a lot of demand for it. So people are going to want to go ahead and get it. So are you saying there was no plan then from the state to make sure that senior citizens didn't wait outside overnight? So the state is not dictating to hospitals we're not dictating to Carlos Magoya how he runs his operations here. That would be a total disaster. These guys are much more competent to be able to deliver healthcare services than a state government could ever be.
Responding to your question, this morning I provided your office and DPO the names of nearly 5,000 Floridians who have filed in March and are still waiting.
Did you vet any of them?
We have provided names.
Did you vet, though? Do you know, did they submit a valid Social Security number?
We don't have Social Security number. Are you still dismissing that people who filed
I'm not dismissing, but here's the facts.
What is
right now, excuse me. When you say I have somebody, the question is, has that person completed the application? So, for example, we were in Tampa the other day, and one of the reporters said, I have someone here who, hasn't been filed in mid-March or whatever. So it's like, give us the name. So we took the name and went, and it turns out the employer's contesting it, saying that the individual quit. So all these have individual fact-specific stuff. Here's what I can tell you. More than $2 billion has now been paid out. And of all the unique, complete, and eligible applicants, 97% have now been paid. Unique applicant, valid application, eligible, 97% have been paid. So what we're going to do tomorrow is I'm going to take all the data, because we're going to have even more good news from what was done yesterday. We're going to put that out, and we're going to show not only who's all been paid, and then we're going to go over the common pitfalls for people, that have not been paid. But I think it's your responsibility, if you're representing that there's someone in March who hasn't been paid, to tell your viewers whether that someone is a valid applicant or not. If someone applies and doesn't support a Social Security number, guess what? Federal, you can't pay under those circumstances.
Is it responsibility to tell us if they're valid or not?
Right? No. Here's the problem. You are not even investigating whether they're valid claims. You're just asserting that that people have applied. And I'm telling you that we have $2 billion in claims that have been paid. We have 97% of the unique, eligible, completed applications. So the issue is they're paid in the order they're received. If you apply today, you're not going to leapfrog someone that paid. They're paid in the order that we received. And so those are just the facts. And I know it's like, to take an anecdote here, but I'm telling you, you got a responsibility. If you're going to put that out to viewers, to say that we've looked into it, the person submitted Social Security, the person is eligible, and not just say that, someone said, because you know what, under normal circumstances, you have people who aren't, we're getting people from other countries applying. We're getting people from other states applying. And so that all goes through the process. Our data is available. Our data is transparent. In fact, Dr. Birx has talked multiple times about how Florida has the absolute best data. So any insinuation otherwise is just typical partisan narrative trying to be spun. And part of the reason is that because you got a lot of people in your profession who waxed poetically for weeks and weeks about how Florida was going to be just like New York,
Wait 2 weeks, Florida's going to be next. Just like Italy, wait 2 weeks. Well, hell, we're 8 weeks away from that, and it hasn't happened. Not only do we have a lower death rate, well, we have way lower deaths generally, we have a lower death rate than the Acela Corridor, D.C., everyone up there. We have a lower death rate than the Midwest, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio. But even in our region, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida has the lower death rate, and I was the #1 landing spot from tens of thousands of people leaving the #1 hot zone in the world to come to my state. So we've succeeded, and I think that people just don't want to recognize it because it challenges their narrative, it challenges their assumption, so they got to try to find a boogeyman. Maybe it's that there are black helicopters circling the Department of Health. If you believe that, I got a bridge in Brooklyn I'd like to sell you.
Last question.